"Will you be my dad today?" asked the little girl with shining eyes to the billionaire, who held a medical diagnosis, giving him only 5 days to live. Her small voice echoed through the luxurious hospital as nurses and security guards exchanged stunned glances. Gabriel Ventura, the richest man in the city, known for his coldness in business, stood frozen. How could an 8-year-old girl, whom he had never seen before, dare to ask such a question? And why, in his final days, did this seem more important than any contract? The girl, Sophia, clutched a crumpled drawing of a smiling family. Her curly hair was tied in a messy ponytail, and her simple clothes contrasted with the sterile, expensive environment. She didn't seem intimidated by the man who commanded an empire. "I know you're sick, but we can pretend just for today," she said with a smile that hid deep pain. No one understood how she had gotten there, bypassing the guards. Gabriel, at 48, was a man who had built his fortune from nothing but never had time for family. Now, with terminal cancer, he faced the loneliness of a life without bonds. Sophia's question disarmed him. Why did she choose him? What did she want? He glanced at the gold watch on his wrist, as if time could answer. But time, he knew, was his greatest enemy. Hello, I'm Marcos Paulo, the storyteller. Subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video, and comment from which city you are watching. Sophia wasn't just any stranger. She lived in an orphanage near the hospital, and her story was a mystery no one in the room knew. Gabriel, with death so near, felt something he couldn't explain, a desire to know more. "Why me?" he asked, his voice hoarse. Sophia just smiled, as if the answer was obvious. The hospital, with its white walls and beeping machines, seemed like a stage for that moment. Nurses whispered, intrigued. Who was this girl who defied logic? Gabriel, always so rational, felt a strange emotion. Something about this child made him want to live more than ever. Sophia's promise was simple but powerful, one day as father and daughter. But what would happen in those 5 remaining days? Could a girl change the life of a man who had given up on everything? The answer was just beginning to form, and no one, not even Gabriel, was ready for what was to come. Gabriel Ventura was the wealthiest man in São Paulo, owner of Ventura Tech, a tech industry giant. At 48, he lived in a penthouse apartment overlooking the city he dominated. But his life was empty. With no wife, no children, no true friends, Gabriel spent his days in meetings and contracts, amassing a fortune that now seemed useless. The cancer diagnosis hit like a punch. 5 days to live, at most. Despite his wealth, Gabriel carried a profound loneliness. He had grown up in a favela, fighting to escape poverty, and that shaped his worldview. "Trust only yourself," he always said. That philosophy took him to the top, but also isolated him. His employees respected him, but no one loved him. He was a stranger even to himself. Gabriel had one noble trait, though. He never forgot his roots. Every year he donated millions to orphanages, always anonymously. He didn't want ties, only to ease the guilt of leaving his own family behind. Now, in the hospital, that guilt weighed heavier than ever. He thought of his mother, who died without his goodbye. His greatest desire, though never admitted, was to leave a legacy that mattered. Not just money, but something human. He wanted his life to have meaning, but he never knew how. Now, with time running out, he wondered, what did I fail to do? The answer seemed distant until Sophia appeared. Gabriel was powerless against death. His billions couldn't buy more time. He tried to keep his composure, but fear consumed him. Hospital nights were long, with him staring at the ceiling, thinking of all he hadn't lived. Loneliness was his only companion until that girl entered his life. At Ventura Tech, his employees continued their work, unaware of their boss's drama. Gabriel was seen as a ruthless genius, but no one knew the man behind the expensive suit. He hid his vulnerability until Sophia, with a simple question, cracked his armor. Sophia's arrival at the hospital was a mystery. How did she know about Gabriel? Why did she choose him? He had no answers, but something about that girl made him want to find out. Perhaps, in his final days, he could discover a purpose he'd never sought. The morning after, Gabriel received a visit from his lawyer, Ricardo, with bad news. Ventura Tech was under investigation for tax evasion, an accusation that could tarnish his legacy. "If this leaks, your reputation will be destroyed," Ricardo said gravely. Gabriel, already weakened, felt anger rising. He had spent his life building something, and now it seemed to be crumbling. In the hospital, Sophia returned, bringing another drawing. "It's you and me at the beach," she said, smiling. Gabriel, irritated by the news, tried to dismiss her. "I don't have time for this, kid," he replied curtly. But Sophia didn't flinch. "You're mad, but I'll come back tomorrow," she said, leaving the drawing on the table. Her persistence unsettled him. The investigation was led by Clara Mendez, an ambitious prosecutor who saw Ventura Tech as a chance to advance her career. She didn't care about Gabriel's health. To her, he was just a symbol of corruption. "Men like him think they're above the law," she said at a press conference as the media spread the news. Gabriel felt helplessness take over. He couldn't fight the disease, and now his company, his pride, was at risk. He looked at Sophia's drawing, with its childlike lines of a sunny beach. Something about that image made him pause. Why did a child insist on getting close to him? In the orphanage, Sophia faced her own challenges. The other kids mocked her for dreaming of a famous dad. "You're crazy, Sophia," one said. But she didn't give up. She had heard about Gabriel on the news and for some reason believed he was different. Clara, the prosecutor, intensified the pressure, demanding Ventura Tech's documents. Gabriel knew that if he didn't act, his company could collapse and his employees would lose everything. He needed a plan, but his mind was clouded by illness and Sophia's inexplicable presence. Meanwhile, Sophia planned her next visit. She held a secret. She knew something about Gabriel that no one else did. It was a subtle clue, but it could change everything. "Tomorrow he'll want to be my dad," she thought, with a hope that defied logic. On her third visit, Sophia arrived at the hospital with a gift, a handmade keychain with a paper star. "It's for luck," she said. Gabriel, exhausted and frustrated by the investigation, lost his patience. "Don't you get it, girl? I'm not your dad, and I never will be. Get out!" His voice echoed, and Sophia stepped back, tears in her eyes. The nurses watching the scene were shocked. "She just wanted to help Mr. Ventura," one said, but Gabriel ignored her. He felt bad, but the pressure was overwhelming. Clara had just released new accusations, calling him a tax thief on TV. His reputation was in tatters. At the orphanage, Sophia cried alone in her room. Gabriel's words hurt more than the other kids' taunts. "He doesn't want me," she thought, clutching the drawing she'd made. She felt foolish for believing a man like him could care about her. The rejection was an open wound. The media gave no respite. Newspapers ran sensational headlines. "Billionaire on death's door is corrupt." Gabriel watched it all from the hospital, feeling the weight of being judged by an entire city. Always proud, he now saw himself as a failure. Loneliness consumed him. Sophia, though hurt, didn't give up. Back at the orphanage, she wrote a letter to Gabriel, sharing her life. An orphan since age 3, with no memories of her parents, dreaming of a family. "I just wanted to make you smile," she wrote. She hesitated, but decided to deliver it the next day. Meanwhile, Ricardo visited Gabriel with more bad news. The prosecutor demanded his presence at a public hearing, despite his condition. "They want to humiliate you," Ricardo said. Gabriel felt anger and shame mix. He was a defeated man with no strength to fight. But looking at Sophia's keychain, something shifted. The paper star, so simple, brought back a distant memory of his mother, who made crafts for him as a child. For the first time, Gabriel felt a spark of hope. Maybe Sophia was more than an intruder. Maybe she was a sign. The next morning, Sophia returned to the hospital, hesitant, with the letter in hand. Gabriel, still shaken, received her with less coldness. "I'm sorry about yesterday," he said, his voice tired. Sophia gave a shy smile and handed him the letter. Reading it, Gabriel felt a knot in his chest. Sophia's story was a mirror of his own childhood. "Have you ever had someone who believed in you?" Sophia asked. Gabriel thought of his mother, who always encouraged him, even in poverty. He realized he'd never returned that love. Sophia's letter planted an idea. Maybe, in his remaining days, he could do something for someone. Gabriel decided to act. He asked Ricardo to investigate the orphanage where Sophia lived. He learned it was in dire conditions at risk of closing. If I can't save my life, maybe I can save theirs, he thought. It was a small step, but the first towards something greater. In the hospital, Gabriel started talking more with Sophia. She shared stories of the orphanage, of friends dreaming of a family. Each word made him rethink his life. He, who always avoided ties, began to feel an unexpected affection for the girl. It was as if she were teaching him to live. Meanwhile, Clara continued her crusade. She announced a press conference to expose more of Gabriel's crimes. He knew time was short, but Sophia's presence made him want to fight, even if just to leave a better legacy. Gabriel asked Sophia to bring more drawings. "I want to know your story," he said. Surprised, Sophia promised to return with a notebook full of drawings. For the first time, Gabriel felt his days had purpose. He didn't know how, but he wanted to be the dad Sophia asked for, even if briefly. The seed of overcoming grew. Gabriel began writing notes about the orphanage, planning donations and renovations. "If I have 5 days, I'll use them well," he decided. The girl he had rejected was changing his worldview, and he was ready to begin. Gabriel started using his influence to help the orphanage. He called Ricardo and ordered a large sum transferred for renovations. "Do it now, before I—" He didn't finish, but Ricardo understood. For the first time, Gabriel prioritized something beyond himself. Sophia visited daily, bringing drawings and stories. She spoke of her orphanage friends like João, who wanted to be an astronaut, and Maria, who dreamed of being a doctor. Gabriel listened attentively, something he'd never done with his employees. He began seeing life through Sophia's eyes, but the challenges were immense. Clara discovered the donations and accused Gabriel of trying to buy a good image. "He wants to clear his conscience before dying," she told the press. Gabriel felt anger return, but Sophia calmed him. "You're doing good. That's what matters," she said. In the hospital, Gabriel faced physical weakness. Palliative chemotherapy left him exhausted, but he refused to stop. He began recording videos for Ventura Tech employees, urging them to continue his work ethically. It was an attempt to correct his mistakes, even if late. Terra Nova, meanwhile, noticed Gabriel's change. Clara, sensing he was gaining public support, intensified her accusations. She demanded he attend the hearing, knowing his condition. "If he doesn't come, it's a confession of guilt," she declared. Gabriel knew facing her was a risk. Despite this, small progress at the orphanage kept hope alive. Sophia brought photos of the place being renovated, with new walls and toys for the kids. "You're making us happy," she said, hugging him. Gabriel, for the first time in years, felt tears fall. Gabriel's journey was just beginning, but Sophia's presence kept him steady. He knew each day was a battle, but now he had a reason to fight. The girl, with her simplicity, was transforming a man who thought he had nothing left to offer. On the 4th day, Gabriel received devastating news. His condition had worsened. The doctor was clear: "You may not make it past tomorrow." The shock made him question everything. "Why am I trying so hard?" he thought, staring at the hospital ceiling. Helping Sophia seemed pointless in the face of imminent death. Sophia arrived soon after, with a new drawing, a star shining in the sky. "That's you, watching over us," she said. But Gabriel, consumed by pain and fear, couldn't smile. "I can't be your dad, Sophia. I'm going to die," he said, his voice breaking. Sophia fell silent, hurt. Clara seized the moment. She leaked fake documents, suggesting Gabriel's donations were a scam. The press pounced, and Ventura Tech lost investors. Gabriel saw his company crumbling, and guilt consumed him. He thought about giving up everything. At the orphanage, the kids heard the news. Some, influenced by the rumors, questioned Sophia. "You said he was good, but he's a thief," one shouted. Sophia defended Gabriel, but doubt shook her. What if she had trusted the wrong person? Alone in the hospital, Gabriel considered abandoning the plan. "It's not worth it," he muttered, tossing Sophia's keychain aside. But looking at the star drawing, he remembered his mother, who never gave up on him. Something inside refused to surrender. He called Ricardo and gave an order. "I want the orphanage to get everything I promised, even if I'm not here." It was a brave decision, made amid pain. Gabriel knew he couldn't change the past, but he could shape Sophia's future. As Sophia returned to the hospital clutching the crumpled letter, Gabriel made a final decision. He would face Clara at the hearing, even if it was his last act. For Sophia, for my mother, for me, he thought. It was time to fight, despite everything against him. That night, a nurse named Anna, who cared for Gabriel, revealed something unexpected. "I knew your mother years ago," she said. Anna shared that Gabriel's mother, before dying, volunteered at the same orphanage where Sophia lived. "She spoke of you with pride, but said you needed to find your heart." The revelation shook Gabriel. He never knew about his mother's work at the orphanage. Anna handed him an old letter from his mother saying, "Gabriel, money isn't everything. Find a greater purpose." The words brought him to tears. He realized Sophia was somehow a gift from fate. Sophia arrived at the hospital, teary but determined. "I know you're scared, but I believe in you," she said, handing him another letter. In it, Sophia revealed she'd found, in the orphanage's archives, that Gabriel had been donating anonymously for years. "You were always good, even if you didn't know it." The revelation changed everything. Gabriel understood his life hadn't been in vain. He'd helped the orphanage out of guilt, but now saw it as more, a chance for redemption. Sophia, unknowingly, was showing him the way. With Anna's help, Gabriel began planning his defense against Clara. Anna suggested contacting an investigative journalist, Miguel, who could expose the false accusations. Gabriel, though weak, agreed. "If I have one day, I'll use it well," he said. Sophia brought more orphanage kids to visit Gabriel. They sang a song learned with his donations. The scene moved Gabriel, who saw for the first time the impact of his actions. He was no longer just a billionaire, he was someone making a difference. The plan was set. Gabriel would face Clara at the hearing, with Miguel exposing the truth. But time was short, and his health fragile. Sophia, by his side, was his strength. "You're my dad today, right?" she said, holding his hand. Gabriel smiled, ready for what was to come. On the fifth day, Gabriel, though weakened, was taken to the public hearing. Clara, confident with the press on her side, declared, "Gabriel Ventura is a symbol of corruption." She displayed fake documents. The crowd booed, and Gabriel felt the weight of every gaze. Sophia, who insisted on being there, sat in the front row, clutching the star keychain. Gabriel looked at her and found strength. He stood, struggling, and began to speak. "I'm not perfect, but I never stole. My company created jobs, and I donated to those in need." Clara laughed, mocking him. "Do you think donations buy forgiveness?" But Gabriel didn't waver. He shared his story, from the favela to the top, and spoke of Sophia. "This girl showed me what truly matters. It's not money, it's what we do with it." The crowd fell silent, surprised. Miguel, the journalist, stepped in. He presented evidence that Clara's accusations were based on documents forged by a Ventura tech rival. The revelation shocked the audience. Clara tried to defend herself, but the truth was out. Gabriel, though weak, felt a victory growing. Sophia ran to him, hugging him. "You were amazing," she said. Gabriel, tears in his eyes, realized he had fought for something greater than himself for the first time. He was no longer the lonely man in the hospital. He was Sophia's dad, even if just for a day. Clara, now on the defensive, lost the press's trust. The crowd began applauding Gabriel, recognizing his courage. He knew he wouldn't change his fate, but he felt peace. Sophia had shown him that life was worth more than he'd imagined. Tension built for the final moment. Exhausted, Gabriel looked at Sophia and said, "Thank you for choosing me." The hearing ended with him applauded, but his body was at its limit. The battle against Clara was won, but the one against death was not. Back at the hospital, Gabriel collapsed after the hearing. Doctors rushed to stabilize him, but the prognosis was grim. Sophia, by his bedside, held his hand, crying. "You can't go, Dad," she said, her voice breaking. Gabriel smiled, even as life slipped away. He asked for a moment alone with Sophia. "You gave me something I never had, a reason to live," he said, struggling. He handed her a document. Ventura Tech would be donated to create a foundation supporting orphanages nationwide. "This is for you and your friends," he added. Sophia, in tears, promised to carry on his legacy. "You're my dad forever," she said. Gabriel, for the first time, felt true peace. He hadn't defeated death, but he'd defeated loneliness. The girl who appeared out of nowhere was now his family. As monitors beeped, Gabriel looked at the star keychain in Sophia's hand. "You're my star," he whispered before closing his eyes. The room fell silent, and Sophia felt the weight of his departure, but she also felt pride. The press, now on Gabriel's side, published the truth about his donations and the foundation. Clara was investigated for forgery, and Ventura Tech gained newfound respect. Even in death, Gabriel left a mark no one expected. Sophia left the hospital heartbroken, but with a mission. Holding the foundation's document, she knew Gabriel had entrusted her with something greater. The 8-year-old now had a purpose that would change lives. The climax was bittersweet. Gabriel died, but his victory transcended life. He found redemption, love, and a legacy through Sophia. The hospital crowd, learning of his passing, wept, but also celebrated the man he'd become. Gabriel's death shocked the city. Newspapers ran headlines, "Billionaire leaves fortune to orphanages." Ventura Tech, now under the foundation, promised to change thousands of children's lives. Sophia, still processing the loss, became the face of this transformation, despite her young age. At the orphanage, the kids who once mocked Sophia now looked at her with admiration. "You were right about him," Maria said, hugging her. Sophia smiled, but Gabriel's absence left a deep void. She held the star keychain, as if he were still there. Clara faced severe consequences. Her career collapsed after Miguel's revelation. She tried a public apology, but no one took her seriously. The justice Gabriel sought, even in his final moments, was achieved. Ventura Tech employees united to honor Gabriel's legacy. They formed a committee to manage the foundation, with Sophia as an honorary consultant. "It's what he wanted," Ricardo said, now leading the transition. The company had never been so united. Sophia returned to the orphanage, but her life had changed. She was no longer just an orphan. She was the guardian of a dream. The orphanage renovations continued. With new rooms and a library, Sophia named Ventura Star in Gabriel's honor. The press surrounded Sophia, seeking interviews. Shy, she declined most, but spoke on a local radio. "He taught me we can all be a family, even for a short time," she said. Her words touched thousands of listeners. The question lingered, was it worth it? Sophia knew it was. Gabriel died, but he left love, hope, and a better future. She looked at the sky, imagining him as a star, and vowed to continue his mission. Days after Gabriel's death, Sophia sat in the orphanage courtyard, staring at the star keychain. She reflected on everything: Gabriel's courage, her own boldness, the pain of loss. Why did he choose me? She wondered. The answer came like a breeze, because they needed each other. Gabriel, in his final days, found a purpose. He, who lived for money, discovered love was more valuable. Sophia, who dreamed of a dad, learned family doesn't need blood ties. It was a lesson she'd carry forever. Sometimes life gives you little time, but it's what you do with it that counts, Sophia thought, recalling Gabriel's words. She understood that the pain of loss was part of love. He made her stronger, more confident, more alive. Sophia opened her drawing notebook and wrote, "Gabriel gave me a dad, and I gave him a daughter." Those words were her way of processing the journey. She knew that, despite the longing, she carried something greater, a purpose. Gabriel's lesson echoed, "It's not how much time you have, but the impact you leave." Sophia decided she'd live to make a difference, as he had. She wanted other kids to feel the love Gabriel gave her. At the orphanage, Sophia began sharing Gabriel's story with her friends. "He wasn't perfect, but he chose to be good," she said. Her words inspired, showing that even the loneliest can find redemption. For the audience, Sophia and Gabriel's story was an invitation to reflect. How often do we ignore those who need us? How often do we let fear stop us from loving? Sophia knew her journey with Gabriel was a lesson for all. A week later, Sophia was called to the hospital. Anna, the nurse, wanted to give her something. It was a video Gabriel recorded in secret. In it, weak but smiling, he said, "Sophia, you gave me a family. Take care of the kids for me. You're my daughter, even if just for a day." Sophia cried, feeling him there. Anna hugged Sophia like a mother would. "He loved you, you know," she said. Sophia nodded, tears streaming down. It was the goodbye she needed, a way to close the cycle. Gabriel was gone, but his love remained. At the orphanage, Sophia gathered the kids and showed the video. They all cried, but also smiled. "He was our dad too," said João, the boy who dreamed of being an astronaut. Sophia felt her heart warm. Gabriel had united them all, even after leaving. Sophia decided to forgive the kids who mocked her. "You didn't know who he was," she said, smiling. The reconciliation brought peace to the orphanage. The children now worked together, inspired by Sophia and Gabriel. Anna became a constant figure in Sophia's life, helping with the foundation. "You're special, little one," Anna said. Sophia felt that through her, Gabriel still cared for her. It was a connection that transcended death. Sophia also forgave Gabriel for his initial rejection. "You were scared, like me," she thought, looking at the keychain. That forgiveness freed her, allowing her to move forward lightly. She now understood everyone makes mistakes, but love can heal. The final scene was cathartic. Sophia, surrounded by the kids, planted a tree in the orphanage courtyard in Gabriel's honor. "This is our star on earth," she said. Everyone clapped, and Sophia felt that somehow Gabriel was there, smiling. The Ventura Star Foundation was officially launched, with Sophia as its ambassador. Ventura Tech, now under new leadership, allocated billions to orphanages and schools. Sophia, at 8, became a symbol of hope, her story told across the country. Clara, the prosecutor, faced a lawsuit for document forgery. She lost her position and credibility. In an interview, she admitted, "I underestimated Gabriel Ventura and that girl." Justice was served, and Sophia felt Gabriel had been avenged. The orphanage kids now had new rooms, books, and teachers. Sophia led reading projects, inspiring her friends to dream big. "You can be anything you want," she said, echoing Gabriel's words. The press, once harsh, now celebrated Gabriel. "The billionaire who found redemption," read a headline. His story inspired other entrepreneurs to donate to social causes. Even in death, Gabriel changed the world. Sophia received a scholarship, secured by the foundation. She dreamed of becoming a lawyer to fight for kids like her. "I'll make you proud, Gabriel," she promised, looking at the sky. It was a reward beyond money. Ventura Tech employees created an annual award in Gabriel's name for young people making a difference in their communities. Sophia was the first honoree, with a plaque reading, "For teaching the world to love." She cried, feeling Gabriel by her side. The emotional satisfaction was palpable. Sophia, who started as a dreaming orphan, was now a leader. Gabriel, who feared dying without a legacy, left an eternal impact. Together, they proved love can conquer even death. A year later, Sophia lived a new reality. The orphanage, now a vibrant home, was filled with laughter and dreams. Sophia led drawing workshops, helping kids express their hopes. She kept drawing, always with a star in each piece. At school, Sophia stood out. Her teachers, once skeptical, now saw her as a leader. She organized fundraisers for other orphanages, using the foundation's money. "It's what Gabriel would do," she said, smiling. The city began to change. Inspired by Sophia, other youths started social projects. A boy, Pedro, began a community garden, and Sophia supported him. "You're the next star," she said, giving him a keychain like hers. A new cycle was starting. Sophia stayed in touch with Anna and Ricardo, who became her extended family. They helped her manage the foundation, ensuring Gabriel's legacy grew. Sophia felt that, through them, Gabriel was still present, guiding her. In the village, people spoke of Sophia as the girl who changed everything. She inspired not just kids, but adults who now believed in second chances. Her story spread, touching hearts across the country. Sophia began writing a book about her journey with Gabriel, titled 5 Days as a Dad. It was her way of sharing the lesson she learned. Time is short, but love is eternal. She wanted other kids to know they could change the world. Sophia's journey was complete, but a new beginning emerged. She knew her mission was bigger than herself. With the star keychain in her pocket, she walked confidently, ready to inspire others to shine. Now 9, Sophia took the stage at a foundation event. "Gabriel taught me that life isn't about how much time you have, but what you do with it," she said, her voice steady. The audience applauded, moved. Her story was a beacon of hope. "Each of us can be a star for someone," Sophia continued, holding the keychain. She spoke of Gabriel, his redemption, and how a 5-day encounter changed everything. "Don't wait for the perfect moment. Love now, live now," she said, tears in her eyes. The star metaphor resonated. Gabriel, who feared dying forgotten, now shone in the sky of thousands of children. Sophia, who dreamed of a dad, found a purpose. Together, they showed love transcends time. For the audience, the story was a call to action. "Who can you help today?" Sophia asked, looking at the crowd. Her words echoed, challenging everyone to reflect on their choices. How often do we let fear stop us from loving? The Ventura Star Foundation grew, reaching orphanages worldwide. Sophia, still young, became a symbol of hope, proving even the smallest can change fate. Her story with Gabriel was proof that love always wins. As the stage lights dimmed, Sophia looked at the sky. "Thank you, Dad," she whispered. She knew Gabriel saw her, proud. And for all of us, her story leaves a lesson. Time is short, but love is eternal. I'm Marcos Paulo, and this was Sophia and Gabriel's story. Leave your like, share with someone who needs to hear this, and never forget, be the star in someone's life. The end.